Hello, everyone. I'm super excited to be here today to talk to all of you about curriculum design. And I know that we all come from all different walks of life, and some of us are actually still working in traditional school and not just homeschoolers. I shouldn't say just, but not homeschoolers looking at the year ahead with regards to what type of coursework that you're going to curate. And so I'm really excited about this. This is one of the best times of the year for me because I love to create curriculum. That's why we're an education-based company. And I get super excited about learning new concepts in science and about where all of the technology is going and how that plays its role in what our future looks like, whether that be our future 6 months from now, a year from now, 3, 5, 10 years from now. What is this all going to look like? How does this impact our children? How do we move forward in such a way that we all feel empowered and we all feel connected and we all know that our future is pretty bright? And so with that being said, I love to go out and research books, research the different texts that are out there that have a vast amount of information in it so that I can then go and pick those books apart and then pull out what I think is going to be best and really design out our quarters and our year as to what we want to learn and what we want to gain. I don't look at things from a perspective of grades or age levels. I look at the perspective of how the concept can be conveyed. And even if I see complex material, I take that complex material and turn it into a simplistic form so that kids of varying levels are able to connect with the materials and be able to then learn and get immersed in it and be able to feel great about what the information that they're gathering. And so applying science to everyday life is something that we do. And what we definitely do is multidisciplinary. So, for example, like if I'm going to be working on the periodic table and the elements, I utilize this book. And this book is not for your average kindergartner, as you can see, right? It's not for your average kindergartner, but or first grader. But I use this with kindergartners and first graders because it's all about how you translate it. When I want to work on different elements and pulling it all together, I bring it to real life. We are carbon beings. Okay, carbon is 6, and looking at oxygen being 8 on the periodic table. These are the atomic numbers, by the way. Can you tell I'm just like totally geeking out on science? That's my deal. That's who I am. But my whole life, I wasn't that person. I wasn't the person who thought that I just loved science and I loved to sit and build things because I got disconnected from it at some point along the line. And for me, I couldn't understand how or why that happened. Later on, and that happened in elementary school. And then later on, when I went to high school, I did really well with chemistry, but I didn't take it very far because for some reason I thought that wasn't for me, that I couldn't connect with it. Yet my life is built around science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. And it's something now that I live for. I live for being able to do experiments with my son and being able to put together chemical formulations and see what we're going to get out the other end. I find that to be exhilarating to be able to experience that. And so I say all this to say, curriculum design is something that any one of us can do. It's all about finding, one, what the standards are. And when I say standards, here in the United States, standards are the Common Core curriculum and then some of the new iterations that they have of such. And that's the national standards. And then each individual state has their own standards within the overall arching standard. With that being said, I take a look at everything, and then based on my state, I look at, okay, what are my guidelines so that I can honor what the state says, but also still do it in the way that's truly authentic to our programming. And so what we do is we actually exceed both the state and national standards because a lot of our work is accelerated work. We work on concepts that are well beyond age, but also still meets the goal. So even when we're working in math, sometimes to be able to understand how the elements work, you have to work in decimals. So young people are learning about decimals way before traditional schoolers would be learning about decimals and fractions and geometry because of all of the engineering work that we do in the maker space. And so I'm coming in, and I hope this doesn't feel like a ramble, but it's all because I get super excited about curriculum. Have I told you that yet? Is that curriculum design is something that you should also get your kiddos involved in. I know for my son, I share it with you all the time, makerspace is his deal. That's what he wants to do. If he could do makerspace and coding all day, that's where he'd be. But the thing is that obviously we want a well-balanced curriculum for our project-based learning. And again, we are project-based learners. And what that means, if I haven't articulated it, or this is the first time you're interacting with one of our videos, if I want to share with our young people a particular pathway to learning. Let's say I would potentially say, okay, we're going to be working on what we're going to be building out a new city. Let's say we're in a state that's looking to expand, and to have an area where they're looking to expand. What would the ecosystem need to look like in this area in order to, let's say, house 1,000 families or 10,000 families, whatever the number is? What systems would we need to have in place to bring forth that city environment? What do we need? A hospital? Is there a hospital nearby? What is the major forms of egress in and out of the city? What do we need? A police force? Do we not need a police force? Do we need a court system? Do we not need a court system? Do we need a local Starbucks? Is that something that would facilitate these families? Is there a university nearby? And all of these things we would be incorporating with our young people so that they can understand, okay, to build our city, we're going to go a little bit more rural, or we're going to go a little bit more urban, or we're going to be somewhere in the center. And what does that look like? And what do we need to build out that ecosystem? And then how many houses do we need? Do we need a car dealership? And what those resources would look like in building out that city. And looking at regulations for how tall our buildings will be in that city, and having that dialogue and having children interact and engage with that dialogue is something that is actually absolutely beautiful. Are we near water? Are we going to have shipping coming in? Are we not near water? And how will we get resources from outside of our area? And so are we close to airports? All of these things play a role in designing a city. And so in that lesson alone, we're covering civics, we're covering government, we're covering mathematics, we're covering architecture, with building and design, we're covering technology, because there's obviously going to be technology in there, and the sciences. How are we, moving dirt and how that impacts things? Are there aquifers near the project? How are the wells and treatment plants? Do we have to create a treatment plant? All of these things come into play, and our kiddos get to see how all of this plays out in real life. And this is an amazing experience for our young people, and it can be an amazing experience for you. And trust me, it does not have to be seen as difficult or challenging. And if you have any questions, do feel free to send me a message, because I would love it. I love to talk about educating our kiddos, and I love to talk about all things STEAM related. So with that being said, I'm going to check out now. I look forward to connecting with you again tomorrow. And guess what? The Boundless Kiddo Summit link is live. It is www.boundlesskiddosummit.com. We are making changes and iterations as we go, but we wanted to get this thing up and running for all of you. We wanted to make sure you all were able to get access to it. But again, we will be modifying it as we go along, but we wanted to get it up and out because July 13th, you are going to be fully, all of the videos are going to be fully, not all of the videos, they go over a 3-day period, but the first day of videos will be live and ready to rock and roll. So I really and truly am excited about having you guys come in, sign up. The initial sign up is free to be able to have access to the videos. And so I would really appreciate it if you go there right now at www.boundlesskiddosummit.com. Bye-bye now. Take care.